If you're going to be able to hear me okay, because the sun and the wind are coming from the same direction and it is a bit windy, and I've got to show you these wonderful cows. They're little ones as well, but they've been quite brave, but they're still, famous last words, fairly peaceful. When they get older, the cows themselves are lovely, but I'm back in this pasture where I found some really cool things. And I'm back with the Deus II. Now I'm afraid I'm really sorry I don't have my speaker system all set up, so I can't show you how it all sounds today, but I might dig some beeps in, but so we won't get too technical with this at the moment. I don't think it's helping much on cultivated land, even though it is definitely punchier, and I feel I'm not missing anything more than I would with the Deus I. And when you do have a signal and you can tell it's not iron, because I use the sensitive full tones program, and that is a bit sparky. You've got to work twice as hard with this, because you've got to go over so many targets, making sure it's not iron. And this one down here, well, that sounded a bit like deep iron to me, even though it had enough of a squawk, but only a two-way squawk. It didn't have a lovely signal all the way around, and up till now I've been avoiding it. If I'm not getting a really nice two-way signal all the way around, I'm passing it off as iron in this program number 3, sensitive full tones, because I lowered the discrimination right down to -6.4 as well. But I've just found something completely fabulous. I'll show you. And it was deep. It was properly deep. I mean, we are talking well over a pinpointer depth, up to about there. Not too surprised, because it's a big object, if I can find it now. But before I show you the big object, this really did surprise me, and I don't think I would have found this with the old machine, but I'm sure I wouldn't have done. It's a tiny little strap end, or a hook of sorts. I don't know how old it is. I'm suspecting medieval. The hook's still there even, it's an absolute beauty, but that was 6 inches down. Probably lying flat, to be fair, but still I was absolutely amazed. Now, I haven't properly looked at this, but I just saw it. It's, well, I mean, it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. I have found a few of these type of things before, so I know what they are. There's something they reckon to do with horses. It's something to do with fitting the bridle to the cheek pieces and all that lot. But I haven't found this design, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's probably been untouched. This field does not get ploughed or turned over. This has probably been there for a very, very long time, and it's as good as the one I found. I mean, I'm completely over the moon. But I think it's almost certainly Saxon or Norman. I really do think it's that early. It's nice and wonky, it's copper alloy of bronze. I mean, that's completely fabulous. I mean, I wouldn't mind if that was the only thing I saw all day. Let's go back. This is definitely worth it, because this is cool. Right, I'll leave all this and I'll come back for it later. Hi there, and welcome to headquarters. Just walking past the door, I snagged my mic and my sound recorder, and the bloody thing's just broken off at the join, so that I don't think the audio will be as clear as it usually is. But I'll do my best. That's a real pain, because they're not cheap, these. Hopefully, I think I'll just get away with buying just the lavalier mic and being able to keep the Tascam. That's really good, this. I've got a link to it in the description if anyone's interested. They're not cheap, but my god, it just is a lifesaver. And all you do is just sync it in with the video afterwards. And providing you shield it against wind, you know, it works really well. Anyway, that's a real pain. But anyway, my god, now this is absolutely mega. It is Anglo-Saxon. And it's a harness fitting of sorts. Now, I think if you go to the Colchester metal detecting website, they've got a really good diagram of how all these things work. I'll put it up here now. I think this was something to do with fitting the sort of straps of the horse around here to where the bridle started, sort of there. Well, the bit rather, like that. I think that's what it was used for. But it's particularly nice to have both ends to it. There's plenty on the portable antiquity scheme, but I think it dates to sort of 1000, 1100. So the fact that that you can find these in one piece is just absolutely mega. As I said, there's lots from the past, but very few with both ends.
Not long ago, I did, in a completely different field, find this one. Now this one they called lozenge shape with knopped sort of sides to it. This one is a bit more primitive, but you get the idea, same sort of thing, that would have doubled up on that side. So just a really early piece of Anglo-Saxon history and something I'm absolutely thrilled with. The tina on it's just lovely. So really pleased with that. I also found this fairly recently as well, and I wasn't sure what it was, but now I know, because I think, even though I can't exactly work out where it's broken, it's identical to that. It's got that sort of concave side on this side, and then if you turn them over, you've got a much sort of flatter side, or in this case, it's sort of going in slightly. But I think that's what that would have been. That would have been part of. This is a loop. I think it would have been part of a harness fitting as well. So there we are. 3 bits. Thank you very much for listening to that. We had a bit of a Saxon bonanza that day, and we come back here a couple more times, so I've got to be fairly quick. So let's go back to the fields.
Trying to shield the mic a bit behind my shirt sleeve because it is quite windy, as always. Bloody windiest country in the world. I never realised till I started making these videos, but hopefully the microphone is actually just behind my shirt. That was where I dug that last Norman piece, or Saxon piece, and just next to it, not so deep, but very foily sounding, is a lovely little Roman coin. Now, it wasn't very deep. I've talked about this before. There's lots of moulds in this field, and I think they bring things up closer to the surface. That I think must be barbarous, but it's really lovely, and it'll clean up quite nicely. I'm pleased with that. Gosh. Well, this could only have been pushed up by the moulds because it was literally on the surface there. I think it's a very grotty Roman coin, but I'm just been just gently taking, well, not that gently, just getting some of the sand off. I think that got a chance of cleaning up, because I just think that's incrustation. Well, a little bit of copper's coming off with it, but I don't know why it's in such poor condition, but I can't think what else that is. It's copper, it's wonky, it's not an English coin. I think it's got to be Roman. There's some beading round there. I suspect it's a barbarous Roman, but we'll clean that up and see. It really is a bit annoying today. The wind's coming from exactly the same side as the sun, so I really hope you can hear me. I'm doing my best. But otherwise, now this is quite coppery sounding. Sounds like a sort of cartridge, that sort of shape and size. You just don't know in this pasture. Foily things seem to be foil at the moment, but they also seem to be quite deep. That should come out in the next chunk. That sounds nice now, I've got to say. Let's have a look. Sounding clearer. What have we got? Oh, lovely. Well, that was definitely worth live digging. It's an absolutely beautiful buckle with its pin and its buckle plate. Now, when you're finding really boring squares, very sharp squares of copper, that's often what they are. Don't dismiss them too readily. It could well be a part of a medieval buckle, almost certainly is, because they're so square and in this case quite nondescript as well. You can easily pass them off. Okay, they're not the most interesting thing, whatever. You're not going to have a whole sort of cabinet dedicated to little square bits of copper, but it's a good sign. They often look more modern, like Second World War or something, but that's lovely. And I know what's going to happen in the middle. It's going to have 2 prongs, and then these bits of copper on each side keep it all in place. I don't want to undo it though, but that's what it will be. You very rarely get them. You very rarely get the whole thing. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm guessing it's on 1200, 1300. Maybe even slightly earlier. Well, that's brilliant. What a find. I really am still getting used to this machine. It's kicking up all sorts of surprises. I mean, the bottom line is I think that sounds quite foily, and it's not... I promise I'll get my speaker working next time, and we'll go through a proper review of this. I've got very mixed feelings about it, I'm afraid. I honestly don't think I'm missing much. That's the really good thing. If anything at all, I don't think I'm missing any more than I was with the old one. It's just not as relaxing, it's not as pretty. You really keeps me on my toes much more than the Deus I. I could really switch off with the Deus I and find... Well, it's sounding quite nice again now. That sounds like a little bronze Roman, if you want my honest opinion. And that's exactly what it is. It's a little bronze Roman. How lovely. In really nice condition. So, not very deep. It's quite foily sounding. It looks like a better one, something in better condition than the one I've just found. It's a later one. I got the 2 victories holding the wreath or whatever it is on the reverse. And then we've got probably someone like Gratian or Valens or Valentinian or someone on that side. So a nice little Roman bronze. That's basically what we thought it was. Good. Well, this is big and coppery, and it didn't sound big and coppery. I can tell you, I'm so sorry we don't have a speaker, but I think it might be, hang on. Well, I know what it is now. I thought it might have been a horse harness pendant with the actual hanging section to it. I thought that's what it would have been, because I could see this bit sticking out, and it's the most incredible Saxon brooch. I've not found one of these before, not a whole one anyway. I found the bow bits and I found the ends, but this has got, well, it's missing its pin, but it's got its catch and everything else, and I don't know what type it is. It's probably called a short long cross or something a bit bizarre like that. But wow. I mean, we have found not many coins, no English coins today so far, but my God, the artifacts coming out of the ground have been completely mind-blowing. And that's one of the most incredible things I've found in a long time. I've not found many Saxon brooches, but that is just fabulous. Right, I think we'll go straight back to headquarters with this, because it's just fabulous. We can't not take a closer look at this. I'm absolutely thrilled. If that might be the end for me now. It's got really cold, and I haven't been out here that long, but I won't be able to concentrate after that. Wow. Right, well, I'll leave all my stuff here as always. Come back for it in a minute. Let's go.
Hi there, welcome back. Well, oh my Lord. I think I said at the time that I discovered sort of bits of brooches. I didn't have that many sort of hanging around, and I have found the odd full one. This bit, for example, when you look at these together, I mean, they're very, very similar with the bow and everything. I wasn't sure what that was until I did a bit of research on it, but that definitely is the brooch, and you can see where the pin would have started there. It's missing its catch, it's missing almost everything, but that's what that is. But this, I mean, my God, I mean, it sort of completely took my breath away. Now, like with all brooches, my go-to book is Hat. Iron Age and Roman brooches is this one. There's 4 books in his which basically deal with his entire collection, and he's not missing much. But in this case, I went to this one. Gosh, I've got this rubbish on my desk. this is the catalogue of all the brooches. So it's basically just a pictorial thing, and it sends you to one of the 4 books. I've only got that one. That's probably the best one of the lot, but I've got to get my hands on the others. Now, this brooch is not actually in here, not in this shape and form. I was a little bit confused. It is a small, what they call a small long brooch. God knows why. Probably a very good reason, but I don't know it. They date to the 6th century, sort of 450, 500, 550. I mean, they're really, really early, and they sort of feel it. There's a couple of very similar ones here, but not with that sort of cut out sort of trefoil shape. So I put it on the detectinghub.co.uk, and someone, I can't remember who it was, but thank you very much, whoever, got back to me with a link of the section on the Portable Antiquities Scheme website where they deal with small long brooches, and there you are, just there. You've got him. It's the same one, absolutely identical, apart from this one is missing the sort of the foot slightly. But if we go and click on it, there we go, brooch. An incomplete cast copper alloy, early Anglo-Saxon small long brooch, and it is exactly the same. Dates to 450 to 600 BC. I mean, BC, AD rather. But that's absolutely fabulous. I mean, it's just finding things like that, which are that, that early. I mean, just only 100 years or so after the Romans left, and in that sort of condition. Okay, you can't have it all. Shame it's missing its pin, but you can see where. I mean, it's got obviously quite sort of ferrous. So you can see where it would have been, and it's got its catch and everything, and that's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I mean, wow. And while I've got you very quickly, this incredible buckle that we found earlier, it is complete, and I think this probably dates to about 1250. I mean, it's quite an early one as well. The pin's a bit crude. Whether it's the original one or not, I don't know. Possibly not. I think that might be a bit makeshift for later. But it's only when I got it home that the copper bit. Oh, a bit of dirt in it. The copper bits on each side have come off. So that's what I meant. That's the sort of thing you'll find. Just a little square of copper. Fortunately, it's still got its rivet in, so it's in one piece, but you can see both sides of it. And there is the forked spacer. So we've got an entire strap, and I can put it back in like that. And you can see exactly how it would have worked. So that's a pretty special find as well, because it's not often you find the whole bit, the actual buckle plate and the buckle itself. So that's just incredible. What a bloody day we had. Well, that sounds really nice. I'll dub some nice sounds in, because I know that on the old machine that would be a coin. Well, I think it's part of a buckle of sorts, isn't it? I don't know how old that is. Not very is my gut feeling. Coppery, pointy, sort of thing that you put in your finds pouch, or my belty thing. It comes back and bites you later. Thanks so much everyone who's given me tips on how to use this machine. Most of you say, and I think I probably agree, is try not to think about the Deus I. It's a new machine, and in many respects it really is. I mean, it probably helps having used the Deus I first. I mean, it's not dissimilar, but it's really not as pretty. But that, even though it's a bit dull sounding, it's about as clear as it comes. I am finding that good targets are not nearly as clearly
With this program, that's with the sensitive full tones. I know I should probably be using the other programs, but at the moment I just want to get used to this one. I quite like the sparkiness of it, I really do. Keeping me on my toes. Right, it's right on the top there. It's always mowing his lawn, that bloke, always. I think it's a bit common to mow your lawn too often. It's a tiny Roman coin. My God. Well, it doesn't surprise me because there's lots of Roman coins in this field. It's a bit of an odd colour, mind you. Is it lead? Yeah, it feels like lead. It's a little lead token. It may even be one of those. I don't think I've ever found one, knowingly, a little Roman lead token. But that is lead. That's why it was sounding quite dull. It looks like it's got something on it, definitely, but I don't know what. Very nice. Well, I think that's another tiny little Roman coin, and again, very close to the surface. Another late 4th century one. That might clean up a bit. If I can get some light on it, hang on. That's not a bad portrait, actually. Could even be silver. Don't think so, though. Maybe. Could be a Siliqua. Don't rub the coins. Don't rub them. I can hear you all saying, well, do you know what? That's not bad, is it? It's quite a nice one. I don't know what it says yet, but we'll clean that up. I'm pleased with that. I love Roman coin. I could find Roman all day if it... Oh look, do you know what? The best one we found all day, actually. I think it says Gratian. Gratianus. I'm sure that's Gratian. So what, 340, 350 or something? Whoa, what a day. T-Con. I don't know if that's Constantia, i.e. Arles, or whatever it is in France, or Constantinople, or maybe neither. I love that. That's one of my finds of the day. Well, what a bloody fabulous day again, and I got to say, at the moment, the long and short of it is, I think I'm definitely finding more in pasture with this. Which do I prefer to use? I honestly think I prefer to use the Deus I. I think it suits me a bit better. I find this, this has slowed me down. No, I can't gallop around like I used to with the Deus I. I've got to really, I'm plodding along like this, checking every signal because there's so much falsing. It's obvious falsing when you get used to it, and yet again, is it? I mean, am I missing out by not digging the good targets, the good signals which sound like they're on the edge of iron? I just don't know yet. So I've had to change my style. I might get used to that. I can't switch off as much. I can't daydream like I used to. This is too punchy, really. It's probably a modern coin. But as I said, in pasture, I'm finding more. There's no doubt about it. I've been over this land several times, and I'm finding things which I didn't find with the last one. I'm also digging a lot more iron, 10 times more iron. And I think this is iron as well. It's not as pretty, it's not as relaxing, it's not as nice a machine to use. I really believe it. But I think it's finding more. That doesn't sound bad now, maybe a rifle round. No! My God, okay. What a find to end on, I mean, my God. It's a 9th or 8th or 9th century Zoomorphic Saxon brooch. And it's an absolutely fabulous one. I mean, that's the best one I've found of these. with a very obvious mouse or hare, or someone said it started off being a horse. That was John from the detecting hub, and he would know because he's a wise old boy. But my God, that's a beautiful one. It's got all sorts of zigzagging. It's called tweehiddle or something like that. Now, I think this is rather a special one. But my God, I'm sorry that you can't hear it. But that sounded like a rifle round. I mean, really, really big and squawky, and it was deep as well. And yet the Saxon brooch sounded like, to me, a bit of tin foil, a bit of large tin foil. I'm finding it hard to know really what things are. And I'm finding it really hard to gauge depth as well. But again, I'm only using one program at the moment. I'm not chopping and changing at all. I want to get good at one, like I got good with the hot program. But that's just absolutely bloody fabulous. It's a bit late in the day to go to, I think we've got to go to headquarters because it's wonderful. Right, we probably won't come straight back. I'll say goodbye from home. But thank you very much for watching, and let's just go back quickly and have a closer look at this because it's just fabulous. Okay, let's go.
Well, wow. I mean, I have found a couple of these before. The last one I found, which I did in the video, I actually gave to the landowner, so I don't have it to compare. But this one, I think might be even nicer. It's just in such good condition. There are plenty on the portable antiquity scheme. They're not that uncommon. It is uncommon to find them like this, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it. It's called tweehiddle style or something like that. The sort of fretwork that goes into the actual main body of the design. I think that would have had enameling in it at one point, and I'm not sure if he doesn't have a little glass eye as well. But if he does, or stone eye, I mean I think he does. Yes, he does. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, it's absolutely tiny. It's a fraction of a millimetre. So, I mean, that's just an incredible piece. Now, as I said, they do get found, but I've not found many in this sort of condition. Anyhow, it's wonderful. You can see the rivet, the holes there where the rivets would have gone to secure it, presumably to the actual strap itself. And it's just a really, really cool find. I'm absolutely thrilled. And just while I've got you quickly, this Roman coin, it is Grecian, and it is, I thought it might be silver. It's not, I don't think. I think it's just a very dark bronze, but it's in beautiful condition. And you've got a rather nice reverse of the emperor himself on the other side, with standing against a shield, and he's holding a laburnum in the other hand, which is a sort of standard. I may even have the chi rho symbol that is quite common in these later Constantinian coins, which is the Greek symbols for the first two words of Christ, C and R, I think, but it's called chi rho. The actual letters themselves are a P and an X. That's just incredible. I mean, what a day. Anyhow, thank you very much for that. We're not going back to the fields. We've run out of time. But thank you very much for coming along, and please look out for future videos. The next one, I think, is when I have a massive rant with my metal detector. I'm wondering how much of that to edit out because it goes on a bit. So probably the whole lot. But anyway, thank you very much and see you next time.